Good. Awesome, right? Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Meow. I'm from Jupiter. Meow. You're welcome. What did you use it for? What do you use it for? Oh, look, OK. You know what? For the airdrop, like I thought it's going to cycle to Solana or whatever and stuff, but I got people using it for iPads and iPencils and like pay the girlfriend bills or whatever. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Meow. I'm here to talk about something called the meta. OK, cool. So first of all, like, what is Jupiter, right? At Jupiter, we kind of want to build the best on-chain trading platform, right, for users, devs, and projects. So we are the most used DEX platform across all chains, and yeah, pretty good. And Q1, yeah. So in Q1 2024, we did 78 billion in like spot volume, about 31 billion in like perps, and about 3 million unique wallets and users so far. And we have a very comprehensive product set, right? You know, from swap, limit order, VA, and DCA, and perps, and our own launchpad as well. So some key product highlights. So we have Metis, the most powerful and most fastest swap aggregation DeFi. LFG, the first end-to-end, community-driven, and decentralized launcher history, right? And we also have the DC and crypto, right? Crypto is like first widely used dollar averaging implementation. And people love it. They use it for everything, right? From shitcoins to awesome coins to meme coins to so everything. We also provide extremely comprehensive infrastructure for devs, from APIs to verticals, SDKs, to some primary systems. And we're probably the most integrated platform in DeFi today, right? If you're a wallet or you're a DeFi application or your website that touches Solana in any way, you probably have used Jupiter one way or the other. We're also the most active in crypto. You know, we have about 270K voters with a high participation, active debate, and most importantly, a feedback loop, right? So our community argue a lot, fight a lot, learn a lot, right? And that's actually really great because I think the most valuable thing you can have in crypto, right, is a learning community, you know, and I think we have that. That's great. And then so all the users, everything, right? So it's like we're powered by a community of cats, right? So I think you know, we have I kind of see it this way, right? We have a lot of awesome users who give us shit and take our shit, you know, give us lots of great feedback every day. We're DAO, the most active DAO in crypto. We have a great team, the most sucking cats, and work groups which are teams of like really awesome ecosystem leaders who you know, who lead the community. And our cadets who are like the most like helpful, positive, and amazing community in crypto. And also there's this amazing community subculture called Zero Boys, who are like Navy SEALs of crypto, right? And then the Jupiter community as well. So I think today I'm here to talk about kind of long-term vision for Jupiter, right? And we call it like accelerating the meta, right? So question is like, what is the meta? So I think the meta is like a state of the world, right? Where decentralized financial technology is actually deeply embedded in everybody's lives. And we believe that it's actually a world where everybody uses like decentralized financial systems daily, whether for payments or remittances and everything. And they use decentralized markets, right, for anything they need, right? Forex, bonds, and everything. And importantly, right, they also use decentralized money, right, for their capital needs. If they buy a car, if they start a company, they'll do a loan, they use decentralized money. Like, obviously, we're kind of very far from that, right? How many of you do that every day? But I think that that's actually the real end goal of crypto, you know? It's a world where everybody actually uses crypto, not just owns crypto. In that regard, right, it's like even if the whole world actually owns Bitcoin by ETF, it's kind of pointless, right? I mean, everyone might own Bitcoin by ETF, but we have gone nowhere nearer to, like, you know, the goal of crypto, you know? Yeah. So that's what I care about, and that's what we care about Jupiter. So how far along are we as an industry? I think we have proven a few things, right? I think firstly, we have proven that we actually have created immense value with decentralized community. I mean, $2 trillion, and actually meme coins are amazing, right? It's like you start a community, you have nothing but a symbol and a bunch of cats, you know, and they buy it. And suddenly these coins are worth like 500 million, billions, right? I think that really shows that we actually create immense value with communities. And secondly, we actually rebuild core financial primitives, right, with financial decentralized systems. Whether it's like markets or perps or lending systems, we rebuild them from scratch with decentralized systems. And actually, importantly, we also completely you know, have global decentralized collaboration with no centralized coordination at all. We don't need WEC or anything to kind of like guide us along. And it's actually a bunch of like cats and dogs and apes and monkeys coming together, you know, to make things happen, purely on the idea of decentralized communities, reputation, and decentralized code. And yeah, I think where we're going, we don't need suits, right? We have cats. That's how we say it. Yeah. But I think we're still far off, right? I think, first of all, I think Jupiter is a pretty big project. But however, I think compared to Sextus, we are very small, right? And compared to TradFi, the billions of TradFi every day, we are tiny, right? So we're still extremely small. And secondly, I think DeFi is still like extremely isolated from daily usage. It's like how many people actually use DeFi daily? Even in this room, very few, I think. And secondly, and thirdly, it's like we are still limited to virtual asset creation, right? It's like, take Jupe for example, right? Or token. I love Jupe. I think Jupe is amazing. I think everyone here should have Jupe, but I can't eat Jupe, right? And similarly, I think Michael Saylor, he loves Bitcoin, but I can't eat Bitcoin either, right? So I think I think it's time to actually start expanding crypto from the realm of virtual asset creation into the realm of actually contributing to like real world production as well. So I think this is what I think we need. I think for us to go to the next stage of the industry, right, we need three things. Number one, we actually need a critical mass of users to start using decentralized financial systems. The second thing we need, we actually need to start using decentralized markets for regular financial needs. Thirdly, we actually need to start funding real productive industries with decentralized financing, right? So these are three critical things I think we need to move on as an industry. So yeah, big words, right? So what's Jupe going to do, Yeah. So so I think Jupe, we are now seeing the meta acceleration strategy, right? Combines the three things: the GM, the GAM, and GDSE. So I think I'll go through them like one by one. So the first one is it's called grid migration, right? Like we want to kind of migrate the masses to start using these centralized technologies. And I think we talk about this a lot, obviously, right? I think most people talk about SocialFi or GameFi as the main thing to drive the adoption. We don't think so. We actually think that it's trading, right? It's the first use case that everyone actually engages in. It's the most important and common use case. And the cool thing is that actually most tokens are actually available first on DEXs, right? And that's a really good reason to actually start onboarding the masses. And actually, my personal belief is that there's a degen ape in all of us, right? So I think the question is how do we kind of bring it out in the masses, right? And also it's important because I think once people actually start using decentralized trading, they actually start being onboarded into all the use cases. They can be on-chain, right? And also decentralized capital is also infinitely more productive than in like centralized wallet. Like when the capital is actually in the decentralized wallet, it starts getting used for everything, lending, tipping, everything. Whereas in the centralized wallet, it's stuck there and doesn't get used, circulated. And it's my belief that if we actually get enough people, right, to actually start doing decentralized trading, we need to critical mass of other use cases, right? Because things like payments and remittances, they need critical mass. If you don't have enough people actually using decentralized systems, you will actually get there. Yeah. So I think obviously biased, but I think Jupiter and Solana especially to start, right? There's a critical mass of tokens around. It's fast and cheap, and Jupiter is already kind of like the most widely used gateway for that. But we still make it a lot more easier and accessible, right? So I think our main effort to push this forward, right, in the coming years, will be the Jupiter Mobile, right? So we'll be launching Jupiter Mobile. And it will be what we call one-click trading. And the whole goal here is to actually make it the most seamless place to trade in DeFi. There are a few things, right? Number one, there are three things actually really important. The first thing is that zero fees, so trade all you want. Auto-config. So we took all the things that are complicated of DeFi trading, right? Slippage, like gas, retries, failures. We took all of them out, right? And to focus on this auto configuration, auto usage. And it's also really focused, right? Unlike every other thing out there, it's also really focused on Solana, swap, and on-ramps. And so I think by dramatically lowering the barrier to entry for actually using the decentralized trading, I think it's actually going to be really important, right? Because you can start from the decentralized trading and go gateway into like infinite number of use cases. Yeah. So I think for us, right? I think if we manage to onboard tens of millions of users to decentralized trading, it will be the first step to getting a critical mass of users onto the meta, right? And Jupiter Mobile will be our main initiative to do so. Yeah. All right. So the second thing is the GAM. We call that a giant unified market, right? And the goal here is simple. We're going to take every single asset and put them into one single state machine. So now imagine a world, right? Imagine a world where like highly liquid assets, right, for like forex and stocks, RWA, meme coins, Bitcoin, everything, right, all sit in one state machine. And you can transact across all of them in a single atomic transaction in a very fast and cheap way. And that, in many ways, is like the ultimate dream of finance, right? And actually, over here, it's actually important to understand that there's a big difference between the current conversations of RWAs and everything and what we're talking about here. Because assets alone are not enough, right? You actually need markets, you actually highly liquid markets for these assets. But markets are not enough as well. Now, imagine you have a highly liquid market in Siberia, okay? A market in Kenya, a market in Antarctica, right? It doesn't work. What you really want is that you want all these markets in one place and to be easily transacted across all of them. Now, and this is actually impossible to do in traditional markets, right? Traditional markets are opaque, isolated, and not transparent. You can't actually transact across through them and gatekeep. But you can actually do it in the open, decentralized world, right? And the very, very cool thing is this, right? This is happening today already. So Solana is actually a single massive state machine, right? With that allows composability with a trivial cost. And you know what? And Jupiter is actually really, really good at allowing users to transact across all the markets atomically, and it's already used by lots of people. So I think, so yeah, so you know, if you are an asset, you are a market on Solana, and index on Jupiter, right? You're already atomic, composable, and accessible by millions. And that's really fucking cool. But obviously, we're not there yet, right? You know, this will need bootstrapping. So today, we are announcing the second main initiative that we have, which is, we call it the GAM initiative, right? So the whole goal is simple. We want to kind of bring all the assets onto Solana, right? Index them at Jupiter, allowing all the assets to be easily accessible by millions with a single click, by any token. Yeah. So in that sense, in that regard, it's actually pretty cool because you can go to the Philippine airport and then use Bong and get pesos, right? You can go to Dubai here, get a Lambo with WAN, you know, or you can even donate to Joe Biden with Bolden coin, you know. So all those, like, it's actually really cool because, like, all these crazy-ass things that you wanted to do, highly liquid assets, all in one single place, you can actually do it, right? It's actually not that crazy, okay? Yeah, and that's what GAM wants to do. So to kickstart GAM, right, we actually have brought on a set of like really awesome partners, right, ranging from like RWA providers like Picasso and OpenED and Dinaro, all of whom have committed to bringing the RWAs onto Solana. Okay, and then secondly, also like a set of the most like awesome market makers around, Cumberland, Wintermute, DWF, and also obviously a number of like extremely Solana aligned like our projects, right, including the foundation themselves, Asymmetric, and my best friends, Alliance DAO. So I think we're actually looking for like a lot more great partners to bring on assets and set up markets and drive the adoption together. And but honestly, it's not that easy. Okay, this is not like a meme coin, right? Meme coin, you launch it, it boom, it dies, never mind, right? Or every single bringing on assets to a network requires a lot of patience and energy and everything, and like you know also incentives, adoption, and awareness. So I think the good thing here is I think Jupiter is I think pretty well placed, you know, to actually really be here for long term and drive these things out. So I think, yeah, and what's important again, I think you know, if we manage to build this giant unified market and actually make it accessible, right, at trivial cost, I think we can actually make crypto far more useful, right? So I think finally one day we can tell our friends that, hey, you know, crypto is actually useful. Yeah. Yeah, and the third thing, the third major initiative they're working on is called GDSC, right? The Global Decentralized Exchange. And the point is simple. We actually want to do one simple thing. We actually want to help off-chain companies list on-chain. Yeah. And why? Well, actually, to me, I think crypto is good at three things, right? Number one, crypto is great at global financing, creative capital formation, and community forming. So if you are a company, I think those are things you need. You want to get financing from all over the world. You want to form capital on your own terms, and actually want to get a great community. And actually, that's actually what many companies around the world don't have, right? Especially those not in the West, right? All over the world, they don't have access to traditional financial markets, right? And so we want to do it for them. We want to allow them to access on-chain capital. And also, I think it's going to be way more fun, right? Guys, think about it. If we actually can get the whole world of on-chain to actually start financing off-chain stuff, it's going to be fucking cool, you know? And actually, that's exciting a lot. So, and Jupiter brings our table here, right? I think we have extensive experience with like capital formation on-chain. We have a lot of, we're probably one of the most connected communities and ecosystem around, and we can do a lot to drive the awareness and adoption for all these projects. But obviously, it's not easy, right? Because like, you kind of need a new web of trust. You need companies to actually trust that this is a good place to go. You actually need a whole new off-chain network auditors who are able to, who users trust and can stake the assets on-chain, right? You also need a listing venue with awesome like processes and everything that's trusted by the community. So I think it's not going to be easy. I think it's going to take, just like the GAM, right? It's going to take time to form and everything. So I think today, I think the main way we can get this started, right, is that we want to do a GDSC pilot, right, in 2024. And then we'll be looking for 2 off-chain companies to support for on-chain listing. Yeah. And then I think it's going to be an important start to figuring out the required web of trust. And then so I think if anyone here is like interested in like you have an off-chain company, like you know you make awesome things, or you have an awesome community, you sell awesome things, right? We'll check with you. You know, we want to see like how we can actually start connecting the off-world production assets and actually the on-chain world financing. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's important because you know, I think if we can do this, right, if we can actually start to finance actual off-chain production industries, we can actually greatly expand the scope and usefulness of crypto. I think it's going to be great. So anyway, in summary, right, this is the meta asset strategy. You know, we believe a lot in like driving the idea of decentralized systems, markets, and capital right? And we're embarking on three key initiatives, right? Whether it's the grid migration or building out the unified market or the global stock exchange, right? So we want to actually do all these things to drive the meta forward. So, and to give a boost to all these efforts, right, I think, yeah, we're also announcing the Jupiter Meta Acceleration Fund, right? And yeah, so to really give a boost to efforts. And yeah, so the fund will do three things, right? Number one, the fund will actually drive mobile adoption to reach a critical mass of users. The second thing is to bootstrap the giant unified market. And thirdly is that you aim to kickstart the global decentralized stock exchange. So the Jupe comes from a strategic reserve managed by a team. And we think that if used effectively, we have a tremendously positive effect, not just for Jupiter, but for crypto as well. And as with any sizable fund, it's actually not easy to use it. So we are looking forward to kind of working with the community and ecosystem to kind of figure out how to use it the best. Yeah, so timelines are these, right? So we have three initiatives, and the mobile, the GAM, and the GSC, and the fund will all roll in the H2 of 2024. And testing, discussion, and brainstorming will take place over April and June, over many, many town halls and spaces. And I think I hope to write a meta paper by May. Yeah, I think that'll be cool. So anyway, in summary, I want to why do we do all this, right? Why don't we just be in DEX? Why don't we just be a good boy and to be a DEX? Right? Why do all this? And this answer is quite personal to us, right? But we do actually think this is. We think that finance is the operating system of the world. And in many ways, right, finance is actually the ultimate allocation of a resource allocation. And it's still, I mean, we can say all we want about how great crypto and DeFi is, but the truth is very simple. Finance today is still extremely centralized, right? There is a very, very small group of people control the global agenda, right, of what wars to fight, what projects to fund, where people should go to, and everything. And we don't think that's good, right? We think that it's actually really important to decentralize finance, right? And the way we do that is by leveraging our core strengths, right? Earlier in the talk, I kind of covered on some of the key qualities of decentralized systems, decentralized markets and capital, and why they're actually in some ways much better than centralized systems, right? I think that's how we do it. We look at the core strengths of decentralized systems, and we think, hey, how can we actually leverage on those strengths to create systems that are impossible, to achieve in centralized systems, and we go for those things, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what the meta is all about. I think the meta is all about, to us, I think it's all about decentralizing the core financial rails, and creating a world where everybody actually using crypto, using decentralized systems for daily payment, remittances, company funding, everything. Because when we actually get there, right, when we actually get to a world where everyone actually start using these things, we start returning the power of finance to the people, right? And that's kind of what I think ultimately we're here for, Again, not Bitcoin ETFs, because in some sense, Bitcoin ETFs are the worst because they actually return the genesis asset of crypto to the centralized systems, right? So I think we're all about the other way. How do we kind of take the core rails and bring it to the people? That's what we're all about. Yeah, so in summary, crypto needs to 10x the users and 100x the liquidity and 1000x the scope, right? If we don't do so, we'll always be stuck in a tiny loop whereby we can't even answer to our friends why crypto is useful, Yeah. So I think that's the thing I want to do, and let's figure it together. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.